There once were two guys living in China, and they discovered that they did not like vagina. Now they're having butt sex with each other. And this podcast is an excuse for their affair. Two guys, one China. Check it out.
Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Two Guys,
One China.
Crushed it. I'm Daniel.
And I'm Jagger.
Not Jagger Willoughby like last time.
Jaguar.
The Jaguar of China.
Mick Jagger.
The American Jaguar.
Jaeger bomb.
How have you been?
Good. How's your week, bro?
This week has been good. I did like a deep clean of my house, which I had so much fun doing, actually. It's because I don't know if you know this, like if you move to China, I was speaking to my friend Jason about this earlier. Every apartment will have a defect. My defect when I moved in was that I had two dead baby rats under my washing machine. Yesterday, I was out washing and my friend was round, and I looked outside the window and I was like, "Hey." She was like, "What?" And I was like, "I have a massive dead rat just staring. This is just a dead rat outside my window just staring at me." And I was like, "I'm going to call him Mike the rat." And so I get to see him every day. But yeah, basically I cleaned my entire apartment. It needed to be done. And now I just feel good. I'm feeling good this week.
Mike is dead?
Mike's always been dead.
I wonder how Mike died.
Yeah, me too. He's just there. But yeah, it's a little scary.
When you say about apartments in China having a defect, that shit's so real, bro. Like, my first apartment, it was new.
Mm-hmm.
That's one reason why I wanted to move in there, because it was brand new. But, God damn it.
Sorry.
Fuck.
Go on. We've got this.
What I'm trying to say is, the first time I moved in, it was new.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I made it lucky. A couple of my friends were like, "Dude, this place is fucking new, bro."
Mm.
But then every single Chinese person I told that my place is new said, "Oh, you're gonna die from the poison."
From poison?
You know, Chinese people, they do not like to be somewhere new because of the glue they put the drywall on.
I did not know this.
Dude, we had parents in our center come to the demo, say that it was awesome, but tell us they would not sign their kids up because the building is too new.
That's so weird.
I swear, you should ask a national here about that, because
That's
I
so
swear.
weird. Yeah, because I was speaking to my friend Jason. We were just talking about. He was saying that like he moved into this the apartment. So we do this podcast at Jagger's house, in this apartment. And he's just moved into the same complex, really nice complex. But he moved into a place. They showed it to him, and he was like, "Yeah, this is really nice." He woke up the next morning at 7:00 in the morning, and there was a butcher who he lived next to him or below him. I can't remember what he said. Just banging on the meat, and he was like, he's Welsh. He was like, "Hey, I can't believe this. You know, I want to move. I do." That's my impression of a Welsh. But I was saying to him that in China, most of the places that you live, they're gonna have some defect, something. My first apartment had no hot water. I didn't realize this because they didn't tell me, but they were basically building an apartment next to my apartment. So I'd wake up at 8:00 in the morning with a drill. We did like a video, sent it to my guy, and I was like, this is totally not acceptable. I don't like this. And he just went, "Yeah, they can start at 9." That was it. I was like, okay, this is my life. And then my toilet blocked when I did a number 2, and basically it rose up, and it was very scary.
It rose from the dead.
Yeah, because I thought I unblocked it. So when I went to flush again, I was like, I've crushed this. I was super hungover as well. I was weak. I was vulnerable. And when I like flushed it, it just like, it was like, and then like his little minions started rushing out, and I was like screaming. It was really actually dramatic. And then luckily it just went and just sucked it all down. And I was like, there is a God.
It's a beautiful story.
Thank you.
the toilet savior came and saved you from the shit of hell.
But then I moved in somewhere else, and this girl that I was living with, she had someone living a new apartment being built next to her. She has a drill. So if you guys are coming to China, there's gonna be noises around your apartment. Because I was saying to Jason, this isn't England. This is normal. There will be noises, and you just put up with it. That's basically how I.
Daniel's completely correct. I'm from a small town in Alabama, so when I'm at home, I'm like 100 yards from the nearest house.
Yeah.
Pretty far.
Mm-hmm.
I can just, put something over my eyes, close my curtains. I can sleep till 3 fucking o'clock. I don't hear shit.
That sounds amazing.
Shit. But here's right. My new apartment I just moved into, I just bought this. I had to use some of my Alabama ingenuity, some of my do-it-yourself, some of my Bob the Builder shit, and
Can he fix it?
Can he fix it? Yes, he can. I don't know if that was it, but
No, that was it. That was it. You crushed it.
So my door was like a rattle. I feel like someone kicked my door in,
Mm-hmm.
and they tried to fix it, but they didn't fix it correctly.
Mm-hmm.
It would like rattle for like a half inch. So I ended up buying this little piece of foam to go around the inside of the door. So now it shuts super tight, and I think it helped. Because have you heard anybody walk by yet?
No, I haven't.
Yeah. The girl I'm talking to and Daniel both, when they were over here, said, "Oh wow, I can hear someone." You can just hear like, and that's flip flops.
Is that walking or something else?
Yeah, I feel like one of my neighbors has flip flops and just like squack. Wait, what sound does flip flops make?
Footballs?
Flop.
What are you talking about?
Oh, okay. So I think I'm talking about sandals.
Yeah, flip flops.
Flip flops. Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
What do you call them?
Flip flops.
Flip flops.
Sandals.
Am I just dumb?
Thongs.
Thongs.
If you're from Australia.
I just can't pronounce it.
But yeah, your room's. I like your new apartment. It looks really nice. Hopefully, I think in a few more episodes we're gonna have a video, and so you'll be able to see us in all our glory.
In their beautifulness.
Mm-hmm. We're gonna make a little studio and everything, which is good. I think that kind of segues into what the episode is going to be about today. So the episode we're going to talk about today is why we wanted to start the podcast and kind of why we never did it before. And we're going to talk about podcasts and YouTube videos because we want to start doing YouTube videos to get a bigger audience because we want to, we want to be famous. We want to be two guys in China famous. Everyone's going to be like, who are those guys? Everyone's going to be like, those are the two guys from China.
That's correct. We want someone to think of us when they think of information about China. Like I want to be on the front page
about
of
information,
Reddit.
But okay.
I want to be on the front page of Reddit.
Yeah.
So when something goes down in China, we make a video real quick. I want our viewers just to repost that shit.
I've never been on Reddit, but that's a good thing,
you've
right?
Never like been on the front page, or if you've never logged on to the website.
Never been on Reddit in my life.
It's like my home.
Nice. Okay. But yeah, so we want to do the podcast because we wanted to be able to explain more information because I feel like we want to do YouTube videos, but we feel like the podcast will be able to dive in deeper. But we also kind of wanted to do YouTube videos because before I came to China, at least, I would look on YouTube videos and I would see these like really pretty people who are like, "Hi guys, welcome to China. My name is and this is China." And I'm like, this person is not real. Like, this person is not real. Whereas I want to be like, "Hey guys, my name's Dan. This is China. This is what it's like a bit normal." I feel like some of the YouTubers just seem like not like real people that you would actually be able to communicate with, and it just seems fake, right?
Most of the people I've met here are not like the people I watched on YouTube prior to getting here. I promise you that. Like I watch YouTube and I'm like, I'm excited about China. I don't know if I want to hang out with them. Yeah. And then when I get to China, I'm like, oh well, coming to China, especially from the United States, where there's stigmatism about China. When you come here, I feel like it's a great filter. So like at home, I'm at a bar, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to talk to them. I can tell by the way they dress, judging them. And then I'm like, oh, this guy's annoying. Oh, this guy's, I don't like him. But then we come here, it's like a bunch of them filters. Like only a certain amount of people from the UK, from United States, will even dare to come here. So when you do come here and you meet them, it's kind of easy to get along with people because all them filters have been surpassed.
Yeah.
So you meet someone and everyone's chill generally. Generally.
I would.
Generally.
I would say the majority of people that I've met in China are fucking weird. I feel like they're weird people. For me personally,
I feel like you have two kinds of people that come to China.
What are those two people?
Three kinds of people, my bad.
Okay.
First one is...
Jagger can't count.
Yeah, fuck me. The first one is someone who is maybe a professional teacher or in the educational field, and the country they live in, they can actually make more money here.
Or business.
Yeah,
because we're situated in Shenzhen, so there's a lot of... We actually meet like a lot of like one of our friends from Sweden. He does like technology, some really cool technology, like fucking bionic arms and shit for people that don't have arms. It's really cool. But yeah, so that's one. Number two
is, I think you have people who maybe learn about China and they kind of are, I guess you would say, losers. Not losers. No, I wouldn't say that. I sound like an asshole.
I'd say that.
Imagine someone coming here.
They
come in here and they just want to immediately get married, make a bunch of Chinese friends, and be cool.
I wouldn't even.
Those are the weird people that Daniel's talking about.
I wouldn't even say that. The thing is, I think for some of the people that I've met who have come here, they've done no studying of Chinese culture. So when they get here, stuff that they do. So like, for instance, if someone, so in China, it's really, really normal for the old men and men just to spit like, and
oh yeah,
I met a friend who was like, yo, I swear they're trying to spit at me because they don't like me because they're racist. And I'm like, no, that's actually just Chinese culture. It's like they believe that they're getting the badness in their mouth and they're spitting it out. And that's just pollution. There's something simple that if you know about China, that you go, oh, that's just part of China. That you get used to it, you accept because you're coming into a culture. So for me, like with the YouTube videos, that's the reason that I watch loads of YouTube videos. I'm like, what the fuck am I going to get into? And so I watched there's a guy Lao86 Serpent.
I don't know how do you say it either.
Yeah, and they're like the biggest pop-in people, like Chinese YouTubers, and they have really good informative videos. Most of them are kind of negative from what I can gather. They've gradually get more negative, but they're really informative. And then you have like other ones where I watched Blondie in China, Where's Poppy, and again they were really good. They're good information, but when I see like all those four, I feel like I'd want to party with them. I wouldn't feel like I would want to have a beer with them because I feel like they would be up themselves.
I agree 100% about that. I feel like a lot of those people that he just named, no offense if you're them and you're watching, it's like
they'd be listening. They can't see us.
It's like if you come to China and you want to hang out with me and Daniel, we're not going to be recording this. We're not going to be having a camera in your face. We're not going to be vlogging the whole time. We're going to be talking to you.
And I feel like with them, it's kind of like, for me, I have no arrogance about China. I have information about China, and if you say something and I go, oh, it's actually because of this, I'm not trying to be like shoving it in your face. I'll be like, this is what I've heard. You can take that information for what you will. Like the whole spitting thing, that guy might be like, no, I think that guy was trying to spit at me, you know? And that's his experience, and everyone has different experiences of China. And hopefully when we have guests that come on, people will share different experiences that might even challenge our like perception of what we think. I mean, at the end of the day, we're two sort of like white guys from America and England.
In China.
In in like our like mid to late 20s. So obviously people have different things that have happened to them. But so going into like the topic of today. So obviously this is the first podcast you've ever done, and you've never done any YouTube videos. Why now?
One thing is, when I came to China, I was super nervous about it. I was just like, I came here last April to see my friend, and then I was like, fuck it, I'll try it out. Why not, right? So I came here, and then once I got here, I've been here for a few months, I'm like, I got this. I'm like, oh, fuck it, if I can do this, why not do something else I've always wanted to do?
Yeah, and I do feel that for me as well, like I feel like there's a separation. When you're in your hometown, maybe people know you have fears, you're more scared, right? You're more scared of doing maybe media stuff. And I feel like there is a massive, like, liberating feeling when you're in a new country. And I don't even think it's reinventing yourself, because you probably already know who you are. It's you want to be more yourself. It's that you want to push further, and there's maybe ideas that you have that maybe back home constricting you. And that's why moving to China or another place in Asia and teaching can be a really, like, valuable thing. And you can you have more time as well. Like, as a teacher, you're not working 9 to 5 most of the time. I work from 2 till 9 on weekdays, and weekends 9 till 5. So I have so much time free. So that's why, we can start doing this. But why did you not do it before back home?
Why not do it back home? Like you said, and when I was in my hometown, even when I was in university, I feel like I had no motivation. Like, I'm from a small town, so there's not that much to do. But it's like I have no motivation. But one difference between being in my small town and being in university, when I was in university, I was way more active. I was, like, playing sports.
Sexually or?
In every way. I was doing things, meeting new people. I was pretty good in school. I felt like the hustle and bustle.
Were you a jock at school?
No, I was kind of a little hipster kid, I guess.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. So, like, especially being in my hometown, it's like I was so lazy. I did nothing. All I did was, like, go to work and come home. Go to work, come home. Go to work, come home. Then when I came to China last year,
why was that though? So when you were back home, why was it that you just went to work and came home? Like, because before you came to China, did you ever have any, like, ideas that you wanted to do YouTube or a podcast? Did you have that before?
I feel like I've always had that in the back of my head.
Mm-hmm. So why didn't you do it?
I don't know.
Well,
there was no pursuing ideas. Like, the only idea I ever had for a YouTube video was the same one that I had maybe 8, 9, 10 years ago, and that would be to do some kind of a Twitch, or 10 years ago there wasn't Twitch. You just recorded yourself doing 360 no scopes and put it on YouTube.
Nice, yeah.
Right.
Wait, I know COD enough that I know what that means. Yeah,
that's all it was. I thought about doing that, never did. Thought about doing that, never did. Went to university.
Wait. So you thought about doing that. Why didn't you do it?
I don't know. There's no answer to this.
Okay, guys, we're gonna dive in deep into the psychology of the American Jaguar. Why didn't you do it? Was it because you didn't have any equipment? Were you scared?
Well, so if you go back 10 years ago when the actual video gamers were the first YouTubers, essentially, or the first, like, I wasn't a Woody's Gamer Tag, White Boy 7th Street, people like that. Like,
what? That was another language.
White Boy 7th Street. It was a YouTube channel. He played video games. It was pretty funny.
Okay.
And then you had to, like, buy something, hook it up to a big, nice computer, and then play the Xbox, and it record it. I think it was called a capture card.
Yeah.
Capture card, yeah. And, like, I was broke as fuck. And then when I went to university, I pretty much stopped playing video games.
Because you're having such an active sex life.
Yeah. There's so many hoes that I just couldn't. Like, I would pick up my controller and they would just throw it.
Okay.
But I just, and, you know how it is in university. It's just hard to have time to sit down and play Xbox when there's so much shit to do, right?
Yeah. I
Like
played quite a lot at university too.
No, I would play Xbox, but we played FIFA a lot.
Yeah.
I would play stuff like,
my guy.
Yeah, I can't tell you. Like, we'd play FIFA, we would play NCAA. It wasn't like me sitting down there, destroying fucking noobs on Call of Duty.
Yeah. So I feel from just gathering. So you thought about doing a podcast or YouTube videos, but you never thought about it too seriously. It was always in the back of your head. You kind of wanted to do it, or did you, in the back of your head you thought to yourself, one day I'm gonna sit down with this beautiful English guy, and
I think it was all the above. Like, a lot of times I would be thinking in my head. So for me, I don't know about you guys listening to this, but for me, YouTube is my media. I watch more YouTube than Netflix. I watch more YouTube than movies. Actually, I watch YouTube and movies more than Netflix or TV shows. I don't watch a lot of TV shows. Every time I want to learn something, YouTube. Every time, YouTube has been my go-to. I probably watched at least 1 to 3 YouTube videos the past 10 years.
Yeah,
every day.
Me too.
So I always see cool channels I like, but they've always been diverse. Like, I listen to a lot of history channels. I listen to stuff to learn Chinese. I watch stuff about drones. I watch stuff about photography and video. It's so diverse, and I've always like, this is cool. Like, these guys can actually make money. You know, they make enough to not work doing this stuff.
So so obviously you were looking at these YouTube channels. What did you think your avenue was into it? What did you think if you were going to do this before we met? What did you think?
It's always video games.
It was always video games?
Always
even when you came to China, you thought you were going to...
No, I never. So it was always video games in terms of YouTube. But I only started listening to podcasts 2 or 3 years ago. And up until about a year and a half ago, I kept telling my friends jokingly, like, dude, let's start a fucking podcast. Let's start a fucking podcast. And they always said, about what? And I said, I don't know. I don't fucking know. I didn't really have an idea about a podcast. And at this point, I wasn't really thinking about a YouTube channel. But then, like, people like Joe Rogan, have you heard of him?
You never speak about him. Who's that?
He's a podcaster, but he puts his podcast on YouTube. That's pretty much.
Is he famous?
I think I've heard about him.
Yeah, I think I've.
But then,
by the way, we have Joe Rogan's #1 fan over here in the American Jaguar.
I like him. But then the thing about him, though, what I'm just using for example, is it seems like fun. It seems like fun. Like some of his guests, I genuinely laugh at some of him and some of his guests.
Yeah,
that's where I got the whole idea from. I'm like, if they can laugh and have fun, why the fuck can't we? Well, I don't have to make a podcast like the dude I will watch make a history video on YouTube. He might make a video about, you know, the German blitzkrieg and the tanks involved doing it. Why can't me and my friends just get drunk and talk about shit and record it?
And here we are.
Here we are. But see, coming to China made me realize, because I did some research, there's like no good podcast about living in China, and there's really not anyone posting podcast on YouTube about living in China.
I think that might be unfair. I think there are some really good videos, but I think I don't really.
There's not really any podcast. Any good.
But I think
mainstream podcast about living in China, though.
That's true. But
the
unfair thing is, I haven't actually listened to any. I've never gone to go and listen to any. But I think one of the main things that we agreed on for starting this podcast is we just wanted normal guys. So there's a girl called Where's Poppy, and she did a video where she talks about living in China and her costs of living in China, and then she had a moment where she was showing her apartment, and she was like, "Okay, so me and my boyfriend, like, we are like when we go to the market, we obviously get."
Is he Chinese?
No, he was Canadian, I think. Oh. This is my Canadian accent. Is it not good? Did I sound Chinese?
No, I was just curious.
But basically, she then went, me and my boyfriend we only go out for meals and we never drink. And then as soon as she said that, I was like, you kind of lost me there. I like drinking, okay? And then when I realized that when I'm watching all these podcasts, most of the guys that do it don't like to party. And I love to party. I just wanted to see a video where there was a guy who was like, hey guys, I love to party. There was even one guy who was like, I love to party. But his video was so well produced. I'm like, you're going out, but you're not actually enjoying your night out. You're there to show, which is good. It's informative. But I want to do videos where it's like, hey guys, welcome to China. Do you like to get fucked up? Let me show you some cool places and like show you what it's actually like. Because I feel like people put this sort of like rose tinted glasses on to show what it's like, and when people get there, it's nothing what it. For me, when I came to China, it was completely different, and I want to be able to maybe show people, well, both of us, like show people what it is like. There's some really cool stuff, and there's some really shitty stuff that can happen as well. And hopefully, through the podcast and the YouTube videos, we'll be able to like explore that.
Right, I agree with that statement. Everything you said.
That was the best speech I ever done, by the way.
That was really good.
I hope people are like clapping.
Right. Like a lot of times I would watch videos too. And there's so many videos that I watched before I actually moved here. And I don't think some of it was actually right. Like some of it is not actually true. Like people have these videos like how to buy food in China, how to order at restaurants. Like, bitch, I get my food delivered to my doorstep every single day.
Yeah, they're talking about like going to the market and getting fresh food. I've never done that.
I've never
I go to a supermarket next to my work.
Exactly. I haven't cooked a single thing since I've been in China. It's so easy to get food, and It's literally the cost to get food delivered to your apartment within 45 minutes is about 1 to 7, maybe 8, 9 kwai. That's $1 back home. $1.
cheap.
I can't even buy a pack of gum for $1 in the United States.
I can't even buy a fucking gum.
A pack of gum.
Fucking gum. Sometimes you go so southern. Yeah, that's one thing that I told my mum. She was like, "Oh, so you?" Because I do enjoy cooking. She was like, "You cooking a lot?" I'm like, Chinese people don't really cook. That might be a broad statement, but
I think it's broad.
it's very broad. But getting takeaways is normal. It's so normal. Eating out is normal. Cooking is normal, but I feel like the majority of foreigners, let's talk about foreigners, majority of foreigners, when you get an apartment like Jagger's, he has one sink. I had one mini stove. There, I mean, you can make eggs, you can make certain...
I don't even have a stove either.
I know, I can see that right now. But, so cooking is not really an option. And with so many restaurants around the area and all these apps that are all connected to WeChat, you can just type in anything and you can get foods delivered to your apartment. Before the coronavirus, they would come to your door. So you just stay in bed, do whatever, have an active sex life, and then someone will just come and knock on your door and you have food and you can order anything that you want.
I never seen a single video about how fucking easy it is to order shit. I got a 4-slot USB connector for my laptop delivered to me in 30 minutes. We couldn't find one, and I just said, fuck it, and I just got it delivered.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's what we're trying to say is a lot of stuff. Like, obviously, it wouldn't make a good video to say, oh, is this easy to get food in China? Like, no one gives a fuck about how easy it is to get food. It's easy to get food in America.
Yeah.
In the United Kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we're saying. But let me ask you, why did you want to start a podcast or YouTube video? Like, if I wanted to, because I've pretty much grown up watching YouTube videos, recently started listening to podcasts like every single day.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, if you do that, you're like, I want to shoot my shot.
Do you want to do what?
Shoot my shot. You never heard that? It's like when you want to...
In porn?
No, it's like, yeah, kind of. When you want to hit up a girl on a DM, it's called you shoot your shot.
Okay.
Like, you say, like, hey, bitch. And you want
Is that how it's... Wow.
Yeah, don't say
Such
that,
a smooth
guys,
talker.
Yeah. But why did you want to start a media outlet?
Yeah, mine was the same. I mean, like, my degree was English and American literature. Most of that was kind of film. When I was at college, I did like media writing. I've always been interested in media. And same with you. It was weird because I'm 29, so I kind of grew up with YouTube and saw kind of people like blow up. People that you go, okay, they're okay, and then they just blow up. And there's so many amazing videos, like you said. Like, I don't even watch TV anymore. Like, I try and explain to my mum and my grandma that they'll be like, oh, if you it's like a psychologist or something. I'm like, they have a 3-hour video podcast. Instead of seeing them on the BBC or like CNN or whatever, where they have a small little thing and they think that's the informative news, get that guy on a 3-hour podcast. You'll learn so much and you'll have so much more information. Why? Because it's more free as well. So my biggest passion, I never thought like my YouTube would be gaming. I love anime and manga, and I create my own manga because I fuck.
What's manga?
Manga. So if you think about in America, you have a comic and a cartoon. So in Japan, anime is the cartoon, manga is the comic. So I create my own manga. And I had this really good... I actually have 2 really good ideas that I'm going to create a separate YouTube channel. And this is actually one of the reasons I wanted to do the podcast, because when I made my YouTube video, I was like... I'll tell everyone now. It starts like this. I just go, I really love manga, and I wanted to describe today. And I was like, oh my God, I sound fucking boring and awful. And one of the reasons I want to start the podcast is be able to like learn my voice and learn sort of like the idioms. Is that even...
No, that's right.
Else?
I told you that before as well, that I want to learn how to control what I say it faster, have a better intuitive, continuous conversation with individuals, interviewing guests, be a better conversationist. That's all things that I think I want to work on as well.
Yeah.
So I
So-
feel you there.
So like, doing that definitely is going to teach me a lot. So yeah, I have ideas for YouTube videos. I did do a YouTube video. I didn't put it out because I was so embarrassed, but I feel like there's enough there to actually do it. I did a podcast actually, funnily enough, with my friend, but I was such a noob. Like, because in your head, you think a podcast, you just think 2 microphones, put it into a laptop, easy.
Easy. We thought that too.
It took us, by the way, probably like 2-3 hours today
Yeah.
to set this up again.
I thought
Because
it
we're
would
using
take
different
5.
microphones now.
I thought it would take 5 minutes. And then we were supposed to start at like 9:30, and then we started like
What time is it? What time is it now?
It's it's midnight. We started at like 11:30. We thought we were going to start at like 9:30.
Yeah. So we'll probably be here for another hour.
Yeah.
You guys are gonna join the ride, but yeah, that's basically. And I think like, because for me, when I wanted to put out that YouTube video about, so the idea was how to write a first chapter of manga, and I was gonna use the biggest mangas in the world, which is like Naruto, My Hero Academia, One Piece. They actually all follow the same narrative, and there'd be no other videos online. In my head, I was like, this might get maybe 5,000, 10,000 views. That's the only time I've actually heard of Reddit, because some guy I was watching, he said if it gets on Reddit, that's when you know that it can get some sort of traction.
You've really never been on Reddit?
No, never.
I'll show you.
I've seen photos of what it is, but I've never like gone onto it.
It's just a forum of all forums. You just a single forum for every forum.
Mhm.
Like right now on there, I follow podcasting, art history, art podcaster, art podcasts, art porn, art shoes, like art male fashion. What'd I say?
What?
Nah, I'm just kidding. I don't follow art porn. Okay, go.
What porn site do you use?
Pornhub.
Oh, you're a classy guy. Nice.
There's no other site. It's a fucking one of the biggest Canadian
That is.
companies.
Is it Canadian?
I think it is Canadian. You might can Google that,
Hmm.
audience, but I think it is Canadian.
But yeah, so that's actually, fear for me was never a thing, because my idea was so niche. I knew that no one would ever see it, and I think, but I feel like the YouTube videos that we want to do are so out there. Like, people are going to see it. I think one of the weirdest things actually about putting out a podcast and putting out YouTube videos is like my uncles, my aunties, my little cousins are going to see this, and it's like kind of their opinion of me. So there is a kind of, I wasn't scared of that, but those are like little things you have in your head. But one thing I will say, putting out the first podcast, was like, I was like, oh my God, press enter. It was like a cinema movie. I was like, boom. And I was like, I'm in the internet. And then I was like thinking that I was going to think about it a lot. I forgot for like 3 days. And then I checked, and we got like, I think now we've got like 150 views, which
Dude,
was
me
pretty
too.
cool.
Yeah. For instance, when we first uploaded the video, we kind of just like said, "Fuck it, we're gonna record this. Fuck it, we're gonna do that. We're just gonna fucking do this, you guys. We're gonna fucking do it. We're gonna make a podcast. Why the fuck not? What are we waiting on?" It's kind of how it happened.
Yeah.
We kind of said, "Fuck it, let's do it." Daniel got a mic. We had a super shitty setup. It sounded kind of average, and we recorded it. We made a super shitty. No, it wasn't shitty. It was a pretty good sounding. It was a pretty good podcast.
Yeah, I
would
think the
say.
content was good.
For the-
I think
for the
we were
first
both
time
nervous. Yeah, I feel like we were both. No, I feel like we're both nervous now doing this.
Yeah, I need to get more used to just like speaking in general. And now I'm tired tonight because it's late. It's late, you guys. Like I want to do this at like lunch.
Trust me, there are
Right.
times where Jag is speaking to me, and I'm so aware that I'm on a podcast that I zone out, and I'm like, "What the fuck is he talking about?" And then I just go, yes, I agree.
Interesting, very interesting.
But yeah, so I feel like now that, like we were saying, now I've come to China, I met you, and I feel like now we have sort of an idea. And so like, yeah, like we said, our idea is that we want to go into,
We have a niche now.
yeah,
We have a niche.
we have,
We can do what Daniel wants to do. We can do what I want to do. But we have a niche that's not super small.
how do you say that word?
I don't know how to say it. Niche?
Yeah, that was niche.
Niche.
What were you saying? Niche.
Niche. What'd I say? The
Maybe you
first
did
time?
say niche. I
Niche?
don't know. You were saying it. I feel like you were saying it really
I
weird.
feel like the more I say it, the harder it is to say niche.
Yeah, niche.
Niche.
But I thought you were saying like niche.
Noosh?
Noosh?
Is it noosh?
What are we doing? This is the informative listening that our listeners wanted.
It's actually a ancient Chinese gladiator.
Yeah.
He fought Spartacus. He was kidnapped.
Chinese guys fought Spark.
There was a few ninjas in Spartacus.
But I do want to say this though before we go into like the next segment, which is like me and you have done this. Like me and you are like nobodies, and we had a dream. We had a little dream, and like we were doing it. We're doing it at the moment.
We're doing
and
it now.
I think that was one thing that we keep saying. We keep going like, dude, watch this YouTube video about podcast, and we both keep messaging each other saying, let's just do it. And then just enjoy the journey. Hopefully you guys will be with us and go through it with us and see, hopefully we get worse and worse.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. But Daniel's right. We were watching, like, we were both watching. I watched a week's worth of podcast of what fucking DSL camera to use to film a YouTube video so we can make our podcast. And then, like, today we couldn't even figure out how to record on the microphone. Like, we need to. So we're trying to overstep how do I word that? You can use your
I don't know.
I don't know.
You're
trying to overstep our boundaries.
You're the wizard of language.
I'm the worst of language. I'm gonna be made fun of so much on this podcast. Like I want to have. There's gonna be in the comments. There's gonna be 2 quotes. It's gonna be like a very dumb quote and a very like well worded quote. And there's gonna be it's gonna say Jagger by Bo.
Yeah.
That's gonna be me if we get super famous.
Yeah. Also, guys, if I wanted to mention this, so we're about to go to the next segment of the show, which is we're going to get a question from someone, one of, I wouldn't say fans, maybe at the moment it would just be friends, but put in the comments what a question that you have, any question that you want, and we'll go through them. At the moment, we have 0 comments, so it won't be tricky to find you. So put a comment in and just ask us a question about me or Jagger, or about China, or about anything. If you have a problem, maybe if they have a problem, you know, me and you, we're psychologists. We can help people.
Of course, we'll help you out. If you have any questions, just put in the comment. We'll answer. No problem.
We're all bros.
We have nothing to do.
Be the third guy in China with us.
Yeah. 3 guys, 1 China.
Okay, so let's move on to the next segment, which is the question of the week.
Dun, dun, dun.
It's time of the question. Sorry. It's time for the question of the week. It's time for the question of the week.
So, this question of the week comes from an old friend of mine called Wenna. #Wenza. She was she's an old flame. Who I love to bits. We're like super good friends now, and she was actually one of the people that I sent into the podcast, and she listened to it the entire way through, gave me some good feedback. So I'd say she's our first fan. Maybe you have some fans, maybe some fans now. Yeah. But her question of the week, which I think was really good, was what is the weirdest thing you've seen in China? Maybe I should have actually told you that before we did this.
What is the weirdest thing I've seen in China? Why don't you go first on this one?
Yeah, I should have thought about this more actually as well. One thing that I've seen recently is where I live. There's this like group of like I'd say 5 or 6 year olds. I'm actually good at kids' ages now because I teach, so I know what a 5 and 6 year old kind of look like. And basically they're just like walking around with massive guns. I'm not talking mini like BB guns. One of the kids had a sniper rifle. The other one had like I don't know, guns that were like an A447, if that's a gun.
A447? I think you said AK-47.
AK. Yeah, I'm not American. And they're just like walking around with these like fucking massive guns. And I don't know, it's like the Westerner in me is just like, do their parents care? I'm not like dissing their parents or anything because it's probably normal here, but it's just weird. And one of the kids has like this like scooter that has like really colorful wheels. So he's just like running around, like speeding past me when I'm walking with his sniper rifle, trying to find his buddies. And they're just walking around with these like massive guns, like plastic. They just look dangerous. Like if they pointed at me and were like, "Give me your phone," I'll be like, "Hey, bro, I don't want any trouble here. I don't want any trouble." What about you? Think about what about think toilets, nights out,
The toilets are squatty. What do you call them? Squat
toilets.
squat
yeah.
toilets. So it's like a hole in the ground.
We've had a debate about this.
Yeah,
Do you want to go into it now?
Yeah, sure. I kind of like the squat toilets now that I've been here. I feel like it.
Okay, so
How do I say this? It makes my bowels empty nicely.
because they don't for me. Okay,
I don't know. I feel good afterwards now that.
So I think one of the weirdest things about China actually is when I came here, I was shocked to how many squatting toilets there were. Like I went into when I came into China, I didn't have a SIM card, so I just had like maps, like photo maps on my phone of where I needed to go, and so I went to a KFC to get some Wi-Fi, and I went upstairs because I was like, I need to drop a deuce, and I went upstairs and it was a squatting toilet, and I was like, oh, even in KFC, and then I realized at my school it's squatting toilets, and it took me about 2 or 3 months before I took the plunge.
Yeah, it took me. So the first time I came to China last April, I was here for 10 days, 10 whole days before I took the plunge. And one time I was just dying. And I had like wet wipes. Is that what we call them?
Yeah.
Because I looked up on the internet. They said they bring wet wipes if you come to China, which is true. But but no, if you're here now, if you live here, you just have a pack of tissues in your backpack and you're fine. But yeah,
Well, I've never used a public. So you used the public toilet?
Then I did. I had to then.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was dying. Right.
What do you mean dying?
Like it was like I was sitting
Did you
there.
get shot by that 6-year-old with his sniper rifle?
Yeah, like, my bowels. But we're eating, and I just like couldn't take it anymore. So I just had to. I got some tissues, wet wipes. I went down to this random place in Wuhan.
So tell me your experience.
Well, the first time it was in Wuhan, and opened the door, it smells like shit. You know that smell?
Yeah, I think
there's
everyone
a
knows
certain
what shit
Chinese bathroom
smells
smell.
like.
It's not even smell. It's just like sewage or something. I don't know.
Oh, that bad.
So I just like.
Do you have a fly in your microphone?
Yeah, god damn it. So I pulled my pants down. I had to figure out then that you have to go like slightly below the knees. You can't go too far down. You might like piss or shit on yourself. But you can't go
We've
too
all
far.
been there.
You can't go too far up. So you gotta have this like right below the knee. So you have to spread your knees a certain distance apart. And then you have to kind of like, it's not like a workout squat. It's like a Japanese, Chinese, Asian squat. You know what I'm talking about, how they sit.
Yeah, because this is, when I was in Vietnam, it's kind of like the poor person's thing. Like what you'll see, sometimes in China as well, is if people are waiting for the bus or just waiting for something, they'll just squat. And
Yeah.
they'll be on their phones because it's more comfortable than standing, which to higher class people in Asia is kind of like the lower class thing to do.
Yeah, a lot of people squat.
They're used to it.
Yeah, they just like squat, and like I can't even sit in that. I can't even get that low. A, B, I can't stay in that position very long. But the first challenge was trying to wipe.
How did you wipe? Do you stand?
I just kind of did it. I don't know.
Let's go through your first experience of a squatting toilet.
That was my first experience in Wuhan.
The entire thing. So you went in.
Yeah.
What did you do?
Like I said, I like below the knees. I had to figure that out right then. You take your pants right below the knees, not too far, not too high up. You can't bend down.
So like in the middle of the shin?
No, right below the knees.
Oh, you went full like 3-year-old having a wee in a urinal.
Yeah. And then, well, you have to like put your ass in that hole. But then,
it's because you wear tight jeans, bro.
Yeah, well, that might be true. But then, essentially, you do your business, and then you have to like. I'm guessing if I was an Asian guy or a native Chinese, I could just wipe without having to do any kind of maneuvers. But I kind of had to like put one hand down forward and stick my ass up a little bit, and then wipe. But now I've got my maneuver down. I still prefer the Western toilet, but like if I have to now and I have tissues, I'm not too worried about it. Like I'm just like fucking do it.
And
what about you?
There is like a thing that when you get used to it, you do feel like, yeah, I'm cultured.
Yeah, I'm cultured. I think but even a lot of like I watch some health guys on YouTube and Instagram, and a lot of them all buy the little squatty potty things you sit on a Western toilet. It's like a mini.
Okay,
stool.
we're gonna have a debate. Okay, so you asked me, my first experience was at work, which is weird because at work, other people use the toilet. So there's 3 toilets, and obviously I took the furthest one from the door, and I made sure it was at a moment because I really needed to go, and it was like at a moment where everyone was busy. If someone was coming in, it was so noisy outside, no one could hear me. So what I did, I actually, everyone might find this disgusting, which it was, is I had to put one hand on the floor for leverage, and I didn't really know what I was doing. It's kind of like losing my virginity. I was just kind of like aiming for a hole, and I didn't know what I was doing. It was really awkward, and I did it, and I was like, okay, that wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. But I feel like the worst thing is about the whole thing is that for me, it's like a cow pat. Like it's like you see your poo, it's there, and you go, I'm human. I'm an animal. But afterwards, after some rigorous training, after 4 or 5 times, my hand's never on the floor. Okay, I walk in, I pull my trousers down, usually just above my knees. Okay, squat down. One hand is over my penis, and I flip it down. Okay, so that I don't wee on my jeans, because that would be embarrassing.
Right.
Because I teach children.
Because you don't know how to use those.
Now, dude,
that would be embarrassing.
every time I always get so there's like a little hole of water. Yeah, every time I poo always goes into the water.
You hit the fucking
every time.
bomb.
Yeah,
the jackpot.
because the thing is, okay, so this is getting to a disgusting part, but have you if you do your little like pat, we'll call it a pat, on the toilet, and you flush it, does it always go down, or do you have to scrub to clean?
There's no scrubbing in China, bro. You just leave it.
So you just leave like mad skid mark on the toilet.
You just gotta leave it, bro.
Do you actually?
What am I gonna clean it with?
But I've only ever pooed at my. Actually, yeah, I've only ever squatted at my work. I've never gone abroad.
Yeah,
gone
I do
anywhere
at
else.
work usually, but same. But dude, there's always a dude cleaning it. But I shout out to that dude. But there's no you can't flush the toilet paper, so there's no like cleaning. Or you're not supposed to flush the toilet paper.
But I just meant there's like a scrub, right? Because you don't want to leave like I maybe for me it's because I work there. So if I walk out the toilet and there's like a mark, so I have to clean it with the little like brush.
Right. Areas don't have a brush. So.
Which, by the way, I still don't even know how to use the brush.
Right. There's no brush for there.
Do I clean it afterwards? I try and clean it afterwards, and then sometimes. Okay, let's not get.
Honestly,
let's go into this.
Honestly, I usually
do you
double
prefer?
Flush.
Do you? What?
I double flush. I just flush again and hope it goes down.
I can't do that because my flush takes too long. So then I'll just be in the toilet and I'll just hear like my like people that I work with. Dan, where are you? And I'm like, oh god, I'm at the scene of the crime. Okay, go. I'm just like, it's okay. What are you doing? I was like, I just had a number one. And we were like, okay.
I was actually on my phone. That's
Yeah.
all. That's it. I was just on my phone.
Just hanging out in the toilet. So my debate is that I think Western toilets are way better than.
I think they're easier, but
Can
I
I
like
be-
the way they. I like the way I feel after the squat. I think that's how you naturally should do it. Probably 10,000 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Like 10,000 years
Yeah,
ago,
it
there weren't
is.
toilets. So
Yeah. No, you're right. So you think it's better because I think your argument, right, is it's a better position for your body.
I think it feels better afterwards. I think it feels like I think it feels like the job was better completed.
Yeah, but for me, I feel like
I scored more points.
touchdown.
Go.
For me, it's like even in a public situation, I need to go and there's a public toilet. Like usually, I'm excited. I'm like, I'm one of those people that gets excited. I'm like, public toilet. I'm like, go in. Usually they're nice. In the West, I'm talking about in the West. Usually they're nice. They're clean.
Right.
And I've had a long day, so I just want to like sit down, do my business, and I can go on my phone. I cannot go on my phone on a squatting toilet. I've done it once, and then that's when I was like, I'm getting really good at this. But still, I would always prefer, because my argument to you is not all poos are solid. So what do you do when you squat. You've had some spicy Chinese food. Have you ever been in that situation?
I'm blessed with a pretty good stomach.
Fuck you.
I haven't had an experience where it's just like shot everywhere. Whatever that, like no shotguns.
Oh my god.
But I guess I'm experienced because I do get on. I can sit down on my phone.
Yeah, I can do that now.
I can get
as
on my
well.
phone now. I
feel like me and you could have a chat next to each other.
Like
and we'd be
the
fine.
other day, a couple months ago, I was like on my phone. Now I noticed that I stayed on my phone for like 5 minutes, and I'm like, I'm Chinese.
Yeah, it's the exact same thing.
I should be smoking a cigarette on my phone in the toilet because that's what Chinese people do. They just
Playing games.
Yeah, they just pull their phone out. They smoke a cigarette. They leave their cigarette in their mouth like an 80s action movie, and they play games on their phones. That's literally what they do.
I do get you.
And you can't smoke in there, but it always smells like cigarettes for some reason.
Dude.
Wink, wink.
I feel like it's usually older men as well. But I've been in a supermarket and a guy just sparked up a cigarette and just smoking.
Yeah,
like there's
you
been
can
some.
smoke anywhere here, dude. No one gives a fuck.
I don't know if I can though. I don't know being a foreigner. I don't know if it's like if you're Chinese, it's different.
Okay, so I think it goes from top to bottom in terms of where you can smoke.
Are we talking about poo or
cigarettes now?
Okay, yeah. Okay.
So like the old people can smoke anywhere.
yeah.
Like they might get kicked out.
Old men, I think.
Yeah, they might get kicked out of the mall, but they will walk slowly towards the exit.
Not even at the mall. Like I've had old
Right.
men be in the queue in front of me smoking and just get it.
Right. And then you're right. And then below the old men is just younger Chinese men.
You like businessmen? Or
Yeah,
whatever.
businessmen. They dress nice. They high class. Someone tells them no, they tell them to fuck off or something like that. Then below that, I think is like foreigners. Because I feel like we can get away maybe in public or at a restaurant.
Is that because they can't communicate? I feel
maybe like if we're in a restaurant, we spark one up.
But then I've funny story. Okay, this is so we both live in a place called Shenzhen. There's a place called Coco Park, which is basically like imagine just a long indoor pathway with clubs and bars inside. There's loads. At the end, there's a club. I can't remember what it's called. It's a red.
Can't remember either.
But yeah, there's a club at the end, and there's not really a dance floor. There's never usually dance floors in Chinese nightclubs. It's just tables. People drink, and they do like shishas and they smoke. When there was this little like gap that you could dance in by the DJ booth, I was smoking, and the police roam around. So the police are basically the bouncers. This guy like tapped me on the shoulder and was like, basically said to me, "Don't smoke here," even though there's a fucking Chinese guy smoking like in my face. And I point to him, and he's like, "No, you go." Anyway, I think I have a friendly face. Okay, I have an approachable face. People just speak to me. I don't know what it is. And anyway, so I was just there, and then this young Chinese dude came up to me and was like, "Yo, what's up, bro?" And I was just like, we're gassing. I was like, "Yeah, it's cool. And we were smoking, we were drinking, it was fun." He was like, "Dude, you should totally come up to my VIP section." And I was like, "I'm fucking there." Okay. So we went to this.
Fuck yeah.
I was there. I was in VIP with some young, rich Chinese dudes, yeah. And guess what happened? That policeman that tapped me on the shoulder came up and lit his cigarette. I put the cigarette in my mouth, and he lit my cigarette. And I was like, boom. Calm as a bitch.
Oh my god.
I don't think he cared, but to me, I was like, I'm in the higher class now, baby.
You got to the VIP, so when he seen you in the VIP, he didn't fuck with you anymore.
No way. He didn't fuck with me at all. I was VIP then. I was a very important person.
Right. I feel this. Okay, here's an example, you guys. I was eating barbecue at Chinese barbecue restaurant at this random place. It was kind of nice. The whole time, no one smoked a cigarette. Families were in there. All of a sudden, I'm eating, and a dude walks in. There was like 4 dudes, about a younger, 25 to 30. They were dressed nice. They come in with a dog. They put the dog under the table, and they all 4 lit up cigarettes. This place was packed out. They were all 4 just smoking cigarettes.
What do they look
cups.
like? What do they say? That sorry again.
They look like they had money.
Okay.
Yeah, they dressed nice. They had nice haircuts, but it's just like imagine in the United States. I'm not sure about the UK. If you're in a really nice restaurant and like you and your homies just walk in with a dog and start smoking cigarettes, dude, you can go to jail. Like, who does that? You bring a fucking dog. First of all, you can't bring a dog into a restaurant in the United States. No. And now you can't even smoke. You haven't been able to smoke in the United States in a restaurant for 20 fucking years. And these guys just broke all the rules. Well, then, like it was nothing. They were ashing in fucking cups.
I know.
Not ashtrays, in cups.
But don't you love
Fucking
it?
dog was barking.
Don't you? I love that about China. Like,
Yeah.
I just love the randomness sometimes when you're just in a situation and then something like that happens, and you're just like, "This is amazing."
I was more actually not concerned. I was more surprised about the dog. They didn't leave it outside like usual. Usually they just tied it up beside a post. But they just fucking brought the dog in. No one said a word. It didn't look like one was looking at them funny.
What? Was it like another crazy thing that you've seen like that? I remember one time me and like literally where you live down the road, there were these 4 Chinese men, and they were so loud. They were drinking and they were so loud. And we just finished work and we got food and sticks, which is like a big thing here, right? Food and sticks.
That's what barbecue is. That's
Oh,
what you call barbecue. Yeah.
Not that, yeah.
Yeah.
And we were sitting there, and my friend Chris is fluent in Chinese. These guys are fucking loud. And in China, one of the things that I love, and it's the same in Vietnam, I don't know what it is, but what they do is they roll up their t-shirts up to their belly and just let their belly lay out. And they will walk like this. They will drink like this. And they were really loud. And they were like... And so me and my friend were like, what are they talking about? And he was like, okay, let me listen. And he was like, okay, so... you see the slim guy? We're like, yeah. He's like saying, I can drink more than you, and my belly's smaller than you. I'm more of a man than you. And then the other guy, he's saying, I have a big belly, which means that I can eat and drink more than you. So I am more than a man of you. And I was like, this is the best conversation I've ever had. It's one of the reasons I want to learn Chinese, so I can actually listen to different conversations away. And he just kept commentating the entire thing, and we were just being quiet, listening to them, like being really rowdy. And it was hilarious.
That's amazing. I wish I would have heard that.
Yeah.
I wish imagine like a movie to where like in real life you just seen subtitles under them.
Yeah. Which is called learning the language.
Yeah. That's what it's like, huh?
Yeah. Anyway, thanks, Wenner, for that question.
Yeah, thank you.
So we were gonna, one thing that I forgot in the first podcast was how we met. And so how I actually want to do this is I want to hear Jagger's first impressions of me, and then I'm going to give you my impressions of you.
So for me, I was on a Tinder date. And we were at a bar/restaurant, and it was okay.
In Sheko, called Terrace, which is a really fun place.
Yeah, it's like a Thai restaurant. Officially, but it's more of just like a bar and grill.
Yeah, they do like live band
Yeah,
music. It's really fun. It's in Sheko. If you ever guys come, that's like probably the main place that people go to.
You would just I would say bar and grill in the United States. Bar and grill with music.
Okay,
I'm not sure what you
but
would
it
call
was
it.
dead. It was dead that night.
Yeah, it was pretty fucking dead. And anyways, we were eating, drinking, and we met this one guy named Luis.
Oh, he's shouting his name out. Luis? He's French.
Yeah, whatever his name is. So we were there, and the girl I was with knew him. So he goes, hey, what's up? And I'm just sitting over there like, "Hey." And then he said, hey, me and some of my homies are outside. But I think he said it was more like a, come outside with me and my friends, because he's a British guy. So we went outside, and we sat down. And it's like me, that girl, Luis, and Lewis, and maybe.
By the way, Lewis, if you listen to this, I love you.
Yeah, we love you. There's like 3 other people, and then there was some girl from like South Africa, I think. And then another, the girl beside you, and then there was Daniel, and we all started talking. And
No,
Daniel,
it was a Chinese girl, Flora.
No, there was a South African girl, right beside you. It's like you, and then the girl from South Africa.
No, the South African girl thinking was from China.
Was she white?
Let's not get into race.
Okay, anyways, there was people there, and then anyway, so I was like, oh hey, I'm Jagger. Daniel's like, oh, I'm Daniel. I noticed he had a British accent. That's kind of all I really noticed. But then we started talking about, this was prior to the Chinese New Year. Chinese New Year is a huge holiday, so you get 2-3 weeks off work. So at some point, Daniel said, "I'm going to Japan," and I was like, "Oh fuck, dude, no goddamn way, man!" And he's like, "Bro, I swear, dude." And I was like, "For real?" He's like, "Yeah." It didn't really go like that, but I was like, "Me too, man." And me too. And
What did you think of me? What was your first impression?
the first impression was like, "Oh, this British guy," because I wasn't completely used to hearing that accent because I've only been in China for like 2 months, 2.5 months at this point, maybe. So I wasn't really used to it. And I was like, "Dude, this is a fucking British guy," and he's going to Tokyo. Japan. We were going to Japan at the same time, so we started talking. But then I started talking more about Japan. Ends up we're going to be in the same goddamn place both times. Both going to Osaka same time. Both going to Tokyo same time. So we started talking. We swapped WeChats. We started drinking more. And then I think for some reason, I met him for like 30 minutes. We were leaving. We were on the way to another place. And I just looked and I said, "Let's start a podcast, bro." Out of nowhere. But what about you? What do you think?
Yeah. So I remember I was out with our friend. What fucking just name dropping now? My friend Lewis, my South African Chinese friend called Flora, because you were like really intuitive that night. We went out, and one of the things that we do when you go to is it Sherco? Sherco? I always say it wrong.
Sheko.
Sherco. That we did is we'd always go to 7-Eleven, get some cheap booze, sit around and just talk shit like we're doing now. And that night, I remember it was dead. And we went to a terrace bar. We sat down outside. I was smoking. And I remember I was about to leave just because nothing was really happening.
It was a boring night.
Yeah, Lewis.
For sure.
Yeah. And then Lewis went to go get a drink and then came out with you and your Tinder date. So one of the things I love about China is... I apologize. I've had a few beers. One of the things that I love about China is that first impressions are weird. Okay, because like
Always.
you came out on your Tinder date, and the first thing I thought of was these guys have definitely been married for 2 years, and they've definitely come to China together. That was my first impression of you both, and I was like, they make a really good. I was like, I can see it. I can see in my head. I can see why they came out together. They get on so well. And then like after like 10-15 minutes, it came out that they were on their first ever date, and I was like, I'm so sorry if you guys have interrupted you. And they were like, no, it's fine, it's cool.
Little did she know.
Yeah, and I just remember listening to you, and I was like, this guy's like probably like Southern drang, he's like, yeah,
Down here in Alabama.
Where are you going for Chinese New Year? And so I think one of the things is when you come out to China is you have people that go to public schools and centers, like private centers. So what happened to me is that I'd met so many like dudes on nights out where we just swap WeChat, and then I go, "Oh, what days are you free?" And they go, "Oh, I'm at a public school, so I'm off Saturday and Sunday," which are working at a center on my busiest days. My days off are Tuesday and Wednesday, so I can't really go out on a night out on Saturday if I have to start 9 o'clock in the morning. It's unfair on the kids. That's the guy I am. Hero teacher.
Hero.
So I'd met like 3 guys who I was like, I I just want to go on a bro date with you and just, hang out, and just become best
have
friends.
a beer. Get a beer.
Yeah. And I think that was one of the things that I said to you was, like, what are your days off? And you went, oh, I'm at a center. My days off are Monday and Tuesday.
Correct.
Yeah. And I was like, no way, I'm off Tuesday and Wednesday, which means I could go out on a Monday night and, be hungover Tuesday. And then we started speaking about New Year's, and you said you're going to Japan. And then I went, I'm going to Osaka. And you were like, no fucking way. And I was like, yeah. And then you were like, and then I was like, I'm going to take you. And you were like, no fucking way. That's how it went in my head.
Oh my God.
And then obviously, then we went to like, in Sherco, basically by the 7-Eleven where you drink. After we went from there, we went to, which I call the red light district of Sherco, which is
something like that.
Yeah, use your imagination. And we went to this bar and had a pool table, and I feel like I hijacked your date, which I'm terribly sorry.
I think it was quite okay.
Okay.
Yeah. She at this point, the girl I was with, she seemed kind of lame at this point.
She seemed a bit snooty. You
Yeah,
know what that
yeah.
means? Snooty.
Yeah.
Yeah, she
Like,
seemed a bit
when
like snooty.
We
right?
were like, oh, this is cool. Like we're going to a random place. We're with new friends. We're going to a random place. We extended the night further. We're playing Connect 4 with these girls at the bar, like these random bartenders.
That was the third bar, yeah. But
Yeah.
no, I feel like with her, when we went to the second bar, I remember she was like, I know
The
everyone
Filipino
around
bar.
here. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then she was like, because one thing you do ask people, it's just a thing that you ask when you meet people, how's your Chinese? And she went, it's pretty good. And I just asked her age. I was like, 你多大? And she was like, what does that mean? And I was like, I've been here 6 months. How long have you been here? And she was like, I've been here like 3 years. And I'm not like dissing her or anything, but there are a lot of people in China that they think their Chinese is better than it actually is. I think my Chinese is pretty shit. I'm more of a phrases guy. I can get by with, I know a lot of phrases, but
Yeah, I have a lot of humility when it comes to learning a language. Like I see people, oh, I can speak English, Cantonese, Mandarin, and Japanese. And then I'm like, oh, okay. When we go to Japan, you can talk to people. And if we actually, for example, if we actually went to Japan, they would know like as much as I knew in Chinese.
yeah.
They wouldn't like I would never say I know a language. I would like classify each language in terms of my proficiency. So it annoys me when people say, oh, I know English, and like I can't even talk to them. They just know how to say like, hey, how are you?
And for me, if someone goes, how good's your Chinese? If I went back home, I could probably order a Chinese takeaway. I could probably go to a Chinese takeaway.
How do you say takeaway in Chinese?
Oh, fuck, you told me before. Oh, wait. It's like bye.
Why am I?
Damn it.
I don't know the tones. We don't fuck with tones on this podcast. If you want to know about tones, you go watch Yo-Yo Chinese or something else.
But yeah, so then what were we talking about? Oh yeah, so then we met. My friend Lewis got really drunk, tried to down. Do you remember when he tried to down the empty tower of beer? And I was like, "D, there's nothing left." And he was like, "Nah, there's more left." Because he's German.
Is he German?
He's French, English, and German. I think we established that through this conversation. But yeah, anyway, so we met. Then we met up in Japan. We had some crazy nights in Japan. And like he said, like we drunkenly said, let's do a podcast. And like when we came back from Japan, I remember thinking we met up because obviously the coronavirus started. So we would go out for drinks with your friends. And then after a while, that's when I realized, yeah, this is where I can do a podcast with you.
Yeah, we had Japan was pretty cool. We had a pretty good bit of fun in Japan. And also what extended it though was during the coronavirus. Think about it like this. So when we got back to China from the coronavirus, and the place we were at, there wasn't a lot of people. Like it was very dead, as you could say, or very unoccupied. So like none of us had to work. Like all the work was canceled. So like there's
some people had to work.
Yeah, some people did, but not as much as now. Like then you didn't. I feel like the first week we got back, like we drank like every night for like a week.
You did. I had to work.
Okay.
My company.
Maybe it was just
I'm not
me.
naming
Maybe
my
it was just
company, but my company, they made us work so much. Like, but like you said, it was nice to have, because you guys were out all the time. I feel like I'm about to burp. Is that my second one? I'm sorry, everyone.
Keep count.
Dude, it's pretty late right now, and I have work tomorrow.
You can downvote the
Just
video
don't
every
judge
burp
me.
here.
Yeah.
Downvote or dislike.
But it was something that I look forward to, like every Friday or Saturday, wherever it was. Like it was something that to go and hang out with you guys as well.
Yeah, it was extremely wild during the initial coronavirus because like everyone's off days were like the same.
Yeah.
But there wasn't that many people here and there wasn't that many places. So it was like for like a month straight, no one new came back. It was just like me and Daniel and like a handful of people at the same place every time.
It was a lot of fun.
It was quite fun. Yeah, it was a good
That's
group of people.
where I met Isaac. So for any of you who don't know, Isaac is Jagger's best friend, and he's the guy that does the really awesome theme tune at the beginning, and he's going to do
Correct.
the theme tune for the phrase of the week. Fucking love that guy. Shout out Isaac. He's probably going to be our first guest when we get guests that come on. Yeah, so I met him. Well, I met him in Japan actually. Should we talk? Let's say, all right. So we'll do a quick like PowerPoint presentation of that night.
Yeah,
in
we'll
Japan.
do a quick PowerPoint presentation of Japan, and then we'll revisit it later. We'll go back and make another podcast about being in Japan, or we can revisit our experiences in Japan because I like to go back. So maybe we can go back and make a video or something.
Nice. That was really professional. So I actually went to Japan before you, and I got there a few days earlier, and I thought the girl that I was supposed to go with, who I met on my training week, who I got on really well with, was coming at the same time. Shout out Abby. But because I'm like Finding Dory. I have a memory of a goldfish, okay? So she told me that she would be coming 2 days later. I didn't remember. So I got there, I was like, oh, so when are you coming? She was like, I'm not coming for another 2 days. And I was like, oh. So I did some really, really cool stuff. And then I shouted out you. I was kind of actually really hoping that you, because obviously we'd only met once at that point, right?
Only met once, yeah.
So they were like checklists that I wanted to do. And I wanted to go to a video game bar, which I went to. And I was playing a video game with the Japanese guy. And then you and Isaac came along.
Yeah.
And then Isaac, being the fucking beefcake that he is, was on some dating app and met this girl, right? And so we went to this bar that was amazing, and we met these two girls, and there were these guys doing this dance into these like girl J-pop.
It was a Australian or New Zealand bar in Osaka, Japan. Remember the owner? Remember the owner, the big muscled up white guy?
Yeah,
he was Australian. It was an Australian bar.
I was too bedazzled with the dancing that was going on.
It was an Australian bar, but if we were not in there would have been no other foreigners. It would have been all Japanese. So it was like one Australian guy and like 30 Japanese old men dancing.
It is a foreign bar because so the girl that we went and met up with through Isaac brought her friend, and I've got them both on Instagram. And that bar, I met a Japanese guy that works there, and a lot of foreigners do go there.
Okay.
But basically, in the corner, if you get to this point in the podcast, I will put up videos of what happened. But it was men standing straight, in sync to the girliest poppy music, in sync doing the same dance with their hands, and it was amazing. It was one of the reasons I love Japan.
We joined in. They didn't say anything. They just laughed at us. We joined in. We recorded them. The DJ was like the same age as the men dancing, but he still had a suit and tie on.
Yeah, some of them did.
And like the bartender tried to offer him a drink, and he violently nudged the bartender off so he can continue DJing.
And then tell us where we went next in our journey of Osaka.
So we left the Australian bar same night, and for some reason we ended up in a fucking club.
No, before that. Oh, which one are you talking? I was talking about the dance. After the dancing club, the bar, we went to the
club. That's
the dart place.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, so fuck, that was a long night. So we went from the Australian middle-aged Japanese disco dance party, and we went to this very cool bar. It was on like the third story of a building. I didn't see a lot of signage outside, but when we got there, it was like all wooden. But the whole place was wooden.
But I feel like that's one of the coolest things. I actually really respect Isaac, even though I don't think he was trying to hook up with the girl. I actually generally think he was just trying to find people to meet, which I think why dating apps are so cool. Like sometimes you just want to meet friends, because I feel like the girl wasn't that into him either. It was like they just wanted to hang out with people. And I remember walking down the street and I was like, okay, what is this? It looked like some weird business building. And then we went into an elevator. We go up and we're all like, what the fuck is this? The doors open.
Yeah, it was
like you said,
all wooden bar, and there was pool tables, there was dartboards, there was a place for music.
It was massive.
It was very big. Like the bartenders were like when you think of like a cool Asian dude, like long hair, tattoos, dressed hipster, like these cool Japanese dudes, spoke
so
English.
Cool. Yeah.
It was
so
a very cool place.
And I'd spoken a little bit of Japanese at that point. Like I love Japanese culture. So one of the girls, her friend, me and her hit it off. Like we both like the same anime. We both I like a lot of Japanese music, and I remember we were just having so much fun. And then after there, I remember Isaac. So when Isaac comes on, Isaac is fluent in Chinese. He's fluent in English,
Spanish. yeah, English too. Yeah,
and Spanish. And I remember he got really frustrated because he couldn't communicate. And I felt like I knew a bit more Japanese than him, even though it was scotchy a little bit. And then after that, they were like, "Do you guys want to go hit up a club?" And
We were drunk and like,
so
fuck yeah.
drunk. And I remember when we went to the club. So like I was saying, in China and Vietnam, that I've noticed, nightclubs are really loud music, loads of tables, no dance floor. Everyone just stands there and drinks. Whereas in Japan, I felt it was like more westernized, where there was a dance floor. And for me, I want to say this to you. I obviously didn't know you that well at that time. I've been an ugly duckling, okay? I've been an ugly duckling in Vietnam and China, okay? I saw the dance floor, and I apologize to you now, but I turned into a swan, didn't I? My dance moves, do you remember?
They were beautiful.
Thank you.
We were also really drunk.
Yeah.
But no, it was definitely like we got down to this club. We had to like it was a nice club. We had to pay way more for cover than we ever wanted to. We
To pay cover?
Yeah, dude.
I
It
did
was
not
like,
remember
oh my
that.
god. But there was like a place for your jackets, and we get down there. It wasn't that crowded, which is cool though, because we just as soon as we got down there, we just like started dancing ridiculously. One of the dancers was a dude. He was like a dancer / TJ. He like ended up buying us shots, taking pictures with us.
Yeah.
I still follow him on
I
still follow him on Instagram.
Yeah, I forgot about that. He looked like Freddie Mercury in his
yeah,
like
he-
yellow suit.
Yes, he was like Freddie Mercury, and it was.
I'll try and put it on. If you're listening to this on the podcast, I'll try and put this on our Instagram, these videos, and I'll also try and put them on the YouTube channel as well.
Yes, I have the pictures too. So
Okay.
if you have that night or that moment when we took a picture with that dancer. Ugh.
Yeah.
But yeah, we met some like Russian transgender prostitutes there as well.
Yeah.
I think Isaac saved me because I was so drunk. One of them kept talking to me or something like that.
Well, I remember I remember because it was really weird. It was a really small club, and I vaguely remember you guys being there, but I was so just in love that there was a dance floor. I just remember sitting down, listening to music, people were dancing, and I was just there drinking. And then I remember this like Russian girl just like tapped me on the shoulder and was like, "Hello," and I was like, "You right?" And she was like, "I think you're very attractive. I want to sleep with you." I'm not even kidding. She was like proper like on that vibe, and I was like, "Huh?" And she was like, "Come, I want to buy you a drink. I want to buy you a drink." Anyway, so I like walked over to the bar, and she basically didn't want to buy me a drink. She was basically saying, "Yo, I'm a prostitute. Do you want to fuck me?" And I was like, "Hell no!" And I was like, "I need to get out of here." And that's what I was like. You know, when you just have that moment where you're like, "Oh my god, it's like 4 o'clock in the morning. I need to leave." And then I left. And then what happened to me?
I don't know what happened to me, much less what happened to you.
Basically, I went home to my hostel, and with my hostel, how I don't even remember the taxi home. So I remember I was probably trying to use all my Japanese and failing. And I get into my hostel, and there's a code to get into my dorm, and the code is the beeping sound is so loud. Beep, so I must have been there beep, like beep boop beep, and I was like, "Oh fuck you, and I kept beep 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 beep, and then trying to rattle it. I was like, "Oh fuck!" And in my head, I'm like, "Oh, I'm waking everyone up. I don't want to be that guy that everyone hates." So I just went into the common room and I just slept on the settee. And I woke up at like 2 p.m. the next day, and I was so hungry. I was hungry for like 2 days. Sucked. How did you get home?
I don't know.
What?
I don't know how I got home.
You never know how you go home. Wait, I just want to tell the audience this. There was a night where we and him got really drunk in Shirku, and I left him, and me and Isaac thought that he died. He got home safely. But then, I think it was like a week later, we met this Mexican guy. And
This Argentinian guy, bro.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah. And there was this Argentinian guy, and he was like, "Oh, hey, how you doing?" He was like, "Yeah, it's cool." So we came over, and he literally just went up to Jagger and was like, "I remember you," and Jagger was like, "What?" And he was like, "Yeah, you were in a taxi, and you were like passed out, and the Chinese guy was asking you to get out, but you kept saying, 'No, just take me wherever.'" So I was like, "Can I get a taxi with you?" And Jagger was like, yeah, sure. So he just got in the taxi, went to where he wanted to go, and then Jagger was like, "Yeah, this is where I live," and just got out, even though he lived so far away.
I paid for it too, though.
Did you?
Yeah. That's why he was thanking me because I paid for it up to that point. Yeah, that's why he was thanking me because I paid for it.
Okay. I
I
feel
don't-
like. Yeah. Anyway, on that bombshell, we're going to go on to the next segment of the show, which is Phrase of the Week.
This week's Chinese phrase of the week. Damn it, I said week twice, and that's redundant.
Everyone, we had a Phrase of the Week from last week. I remember yours, but I can't remember mine. Yours was Lao Ban.
Laoban.
I actually use that at work, by the way. I
Yeah,
use
yeah.
that with everyone. Lao Ban means my boss, basically, boss. Right?
Yes.
So you'd be like, 你是老板.
Correct.
You are my
That's it.
boss.
That's it.
But someone told me that Lao Ban means like the top. That was you, wasn't it?
My
That was
my
you, yeah.
coworker, we called her, or my boss, I said, Ni hao Laoban. And she just started laughing. She goes, you can call me Ashley. Right? So apparently that might be like the big boss.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I don't know how much up further, because obviously like for, West culture, we have like boss, and you might have supervisor. Boss. And then like, imagine you have like a manager, regional manager, district manager, CEO of the company. Like,
Thank God.
It depends. Yeah, like who's the actual boss, right? I guess we we just say the person above us is the boss.
Yeah.
So they might say like Lao Ban might be like the CEO. Or
Lao Ban.
Lao Ban.
Yeah, we didn't care about tones.
Yeah, we don't talk about tones here.
Okay, so anyway, do you remember mine? What was my phrase?
I don't remember.
I can't remember mine either. All right, so what's your phrase of the week? So we wanted to do this segment just to give you a phrase. You might not remember it, you might do, but something that might help you out if you visit, or just something funny.
I think I'm gonna go with 你吃晚饭吗?
Do you want to eat a dinner?
Correct. Do you want no?
Do you want to have food?
No. So you know how this says?
你吃. Wait, let me guess.
你吃了饭吗?
你
你吃了饭吗? That means
You-
like kind of like have you ate?
Oh yeah, have you eaten?
It's kind of like how are you?
Yeah.
But if you say 你吃晚饭吗? It's like have you ate dinner?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I crushed it a little bit.
Yeah. That's right.
Nice.
晚饭 is dinner, but
To say it more clearly, say it one more time.
你吃晚饭吗?
Cool.
But if you're listening to this, please don't excuse my Chinese and my tones.
Okay.
I don't know Chinese
Um.
very well.
Okay, so mine is, which you've never heard before, so pretend that you've never heard this before, is 你能说慢一点吗? What do you think that means? Pretend that you've never heard that before. I told him last week.
Say it slowly.
你能说慢一点吗?
Something speak. 说.
Speak.
Like
You speak.
little.
EDN.
Little. That's all I know. You speak little.
So it's 你 you
你
说
说
speak man slow EDN a little,
嘛.
which basically means can you speak slower
Okay.
for me? So
Right.
I use that all the time. It's really funny actually, like because when you know a little bit of Chinese and you say that, they speak to you like you're dumb. So you'll be like 你能说慢一点吗? And they'll be like 我吃了吃饭吗? And you'll be like, got it.
Yeah. That's I'm gonna have to remember that phrase because that could come in handy. Because it's like when I'm ordering Waimai, they'll call me, and I know they're gonna say, "I just put your food on the counter," because I seen them on the map. I seen them on the map, and I'm walking and I see they're in the front desk. But I call and I'm like, "What? Wait, ni hao," and I'm expecting them to try to understand what they're saying, but it's just just incomprehensible.
Sound like that.
And it's like I know what they're saying. They're saying, "Hello, I put your Waimai, your to-go food, on the counter," but it's like I have no idea how to answer or what they're saying.
I feel like Waimai is a good one. I need to remember that one as well. Waimai.
Waimai, very useful.
Cool.
Okay, so you go for lunch. You say
Mhm.
Waimai, and they give it to you to go.
This
Well,
is, we are informative actually. We're in about this isn't a comedy podcast. This is an informative podcast.
I don't know if like that's. I don't know the sentence you use Waimai in. I don't know if you would actually say like, "Well, yeah, Waimai fan." I don't know if you'd actually say that. But if you just say Waimai, they'll give it to you to go.
Oh yeah, this is just our understanding of what we know. Because a lot of times when we for me, when I try and learn Chinese, I ask a Chinese person and they say it to me. But then when I ask another Chinese person, they say something completely different.
Yeah. Also, we're going to go out with this phrase. We're going to go out with this statement. China's a big place. You could be in one city and it could be a drastically different experience in another city. They have different dialects. They have, you could live in Beijing and then you could come to Shenzhen and you could go to some random, because Shenzhen is at the south and Beijing is at the north. So you could go in South China and you could say ni hao to someone and they could be a native Cantonese speaker. And they won't know a goddamn fuck of what you're saying.
And that's why we are two guys.
One China.
Awesome. Cool. So thank you for listening today, guys. If you want to catch us on Instagram, you can catch me on at DTJC12. I don't know why I sounded like a Google Translate then. You can also catch us. We're going to try and put this on iTunes. So I think at this point, like if you do search Two Guys, One China in iTunes, we should come up. Also, our Instagram is at two guys, one China. You want to say anything?
My handle is just I.guy.the.moves.like.jagger, spelled Jager. So go follow me.
You sound like Google. Why do we sound like Google Translate? We do that. But yeah, and also guys, if you guys are listening to this, like at the moment, I feel like people that listen to this are just friends. But even friends, dude, family, if you guys want any questions that you think would be funny, like if you want to try and embarrass us or anything like that, or if you're even just a new listener and like it's 5 years, we'll probably still be fucking here. So ask us any questions, put them in our YouTube comments, and trust me, we have a lot of time on our hands at the moment. So Two Guys, One China, out.